Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Hello, Exiles, and yes, that is exactly how I've been feeling over the last month. Now, I'm sure many of us have started multiple characters by now and even reached in-game mapping on some of them. I've taken 4 there myself, and I'm just 2 acts away from achieving that with a 5th character, and which, keeping this in mind, the time I have spent in the mapping stages has been one of the most frustrating times in my life. And I've been around a while, so believe me when I say I have definitely shortened my lifespan on Earth over the last month due to the stress.
When I was young.
Now, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump straight into what needs to be adjusted, including you hitting that like and subscribe button to stay up to date on all things Exile. The first big change I'm interested in seeing adjusted is the one map, one death policy Grinding Gear Games has implemented while sticking to the old time 6 entry portals at the gate. I get it. Every time I jump into a map, I get pinged. I gotta go sell an item. I need a way back into my map. But I do have a few reasons why going back to the old multiple death maps would be a great idea. For one, boss maps are so sparsely placed on the mapping system at the end game that when I finally do reach it and only get one shot at it, I kind of feel hurt inside.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
There could be many fixes to this issue, like giving us more boss maps, or even better, let me die more like you used to in the original version of the game. It's either that or I just start stacking magic find gear so that I can get way more high level drops than what the boss would have dropped anyways, and I just defeat the purpose of wanting to fight a boss to begin with. Next, don't even get me started on Insta death maps where I spawn in and before Grinding Gear Games wheels finish turning, I am dead to mass gang related violence.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
I'm not too sure what brings this on, but I would guess that Grinding Gear Games has a way to create a safe zone on entry to a map, or at least incorporate a non-aggro to freshly spawned characters up to a certain threshold. This of course ties into my first boomer complaint that one shot
Game over, man. Game over.
You jump into the map. If you do not make it there because 1,000 mobs have spawned on top of you and the second you move you're dead, well then there goes your chance to fight that boss on that map. Finally, you got to do something with trials. I find it super funny that back on the 17th, you kind of addressed this issue with a proximity honor change where you lose more honor for being further away from the mob, but that didn't really fix anything considering that range classes never get anywhere remotely close to a mob before they are looting gold off of it. Very unbalanced. And what about the time sunk into going through 1,000 levels to achieve your final ascendancies? I know it's not 1,000, but my God, it feels like I need to take an entire day off in order to find the time to try to complete one of these things. You gotta rethink this. It's probably one of the things you felt was going to instill the most rewarding feelings inside of us gamers, but in reality, I'd rather just stop playing and go do IRL things at that point. I've always been an advocate that Grinding Gear Games has made games which both hardcore and casual gamers, to an extent, can enjoy. And I know this is early access and things can be adjusted to balance in-game issues for all to enjoy the content. I'm a teacher after all, and my primary goal for every class is to make content both challenging and enjoyable for all of my students. I know this game is on a much larger scale than this, but the concept is clearly the same. You can't advertise how much you've invested into an in-game system and not consider the diversity of gaming abilities to take on that content. Adjustments need to be made, and the entirety of your audience needs to be considered to a degree to assure the future success of this game.